jet flying son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. Yeah, we Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Rick flaring, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death. I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry for spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness is really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. To the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring, sun up, baby.
Hey, Roundtable Season 2. Scotty and Blue. Backpack coming through. Let's square it away. Ain't nothing like the round table. I pay you if able to find better on cable. They made you appreciate Scotty and Blue. Football media, walking encyclopedia. Scott understand the Blue got the stats handy. Football, the topic around it, they ain't dancing. Stat sheet longer than Clifford Harris's rap sheet. He run a phone, please. See why you playing them that deep. Awkward silence, no need to be quiet. You know you saw the game, we might as well talk about it. Somebody caught a body in front of everybody. Pick six, cornerback out here committing robberies. How much you wanna bet we could cover the spread? 50 yards in the game, 100 after the catch. Throw it up if you want, I'ma grab it and flex. Season 2, Captain Pettier, still with the mess. You can move how you want, but we gon' move too. Roundtable with your boys, yeah, Scotty and Blue. Backpack. Poet.
What is going on there? What's going on, everybody?
He hit every button.
I was like, I'm all discombobulated, man. But hey, appreciate it. Listen, we usually do this on Thursday. I was traveling. Blues getting ready for the Montgomery game tomorrow. You know, my boy staying in Alabama. He's going to shoot up there. So we're doing this today on Friday. The Roundtable with my boy Blue.
And man. I had to save a little bit of money this weekend. I had some opportunities to go some other games, but man, listen, that trip to Butte Creek, that was a haul through a hurricane and everything. I just needed a break this weekend. I was like, listen, I'll take my little hour and a half, 2-hour drive this weekend and then get back on the road starting next week.
Hey, nothing is so listen, it's nothing better than just be like, let me just hop up, take a quick little drive, boop, boop, come on back to the crib and you good to go, man. But now you out there being the road warriors you are. Me too out here in Orangeburg. Listen, I'm telling you guys this now. Please pray for my connection. You know I'm not a Spectrum fan. I left Columbia to get to Atlanta just to get away from Spectrum, and I'm back. So so please just pray for me. Lord be willing, just pray for me. We keep this connection going all day. All right, Blue. Listen, man. It's been a lot of stuff. We usually do a week recap on the last games. Let's keep it short and sweet. Everybody's talked about those old games. Give me one game that stood out from you. Just one, because we know you watch everything. Give me one from last week that stood out.
I'll keep it simple, man. The game I was at, the Campbell, North Carolina Central game was so I listen, I didn't expect it. I didn't make my prediction, but listen, I promise you I didn't predict 48-18, regardless of whichever team I predicted. The size of the offensive line, though, man, was something that I had no idea. I really didn't. I saw them coming out for warm-ups, and I was like, okay, it's different. This is going to be different. They went 12 plays, 84 yards in the first drive, and I said, yep, they have no shot.
Yeah,
especially if they don't score on that first drive. They went a quick 3 and out, and Campbell went right back down their throats. And I said, oh boy, this is going to get out of hand. So shout out to Mike Minter and that Campbell staff. They were confident. They established their type of game. When you put up 300 yards rushing on someone nowadays, that's domination.
Absolutely. And before I go any further, I want to give a shout out to my man Quincy Edwards. He told us he had an Airbnb down here. We paid for it. Nice little comment. Hey, this thing is dope. All right, if you in Orangeburg, I'm gonna post a picture of the Airbnb. But this thing is nice. I'm telling you, it's like a duplex type style. Got double bedrooms. Got a hotel feel to it. Full fridge, all that laundry, all that is nice. So if you're ever down in Orangeburg and you need a place to stay, we gonna put the link on the description and we gonna post a photo for you guys. Listen, I'm just going right with you, Blue. It ain't no other game that mattered to me other than North Carolina Central and Campbell. Seeing them, because let's everybody be honest, other than Blue, not a lot of people was watching Campbell in the games previously, and they came in with a 1-2 record. So everybody's like, North Central, they should get this. It should be a competitive game. But when you saw them step on that front line and you saw them move North Central the way they did, I said these boys are different. Malik Hodge, different. Rozier, your interview with the kid this summer, different. The tight end, different. I mean, it's just they're just different, man. Listen, what they displayed was just pure dominance, tempo, size, players that made plays. I'm just like, that's not a team you want to continue to see. And I just don't think North Carolina Central understood what they were going up against that day, because you text me, I said, Blue, it's this size and tempo, bro. It's just size and tempo. That's all I'm seeing. It's just size and tempo. So it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I looked up the starting 5 for this show because people have been asking me, man, how are they statistically the biggest offensive line? Starting tackle, 6'7", 355, redshirt senior. Other tackle, 6'8", 355, graduate transfer. Guard, 6'4", 335, grad transfer. Other guards, center, 6'3", 300, grad transfer. Other guard, 6'3", 320, junior.
Nobody underneath 3 bills?
No. And Scotty, they have 2 true freshmen that are over 340 right now sitting on the bench, both over 6'6".
Hold up. Say that. Hold on, Blue. Hold on, Blue. So,
I'm telling you.
They got 2 freshmen.
Yes.
Over 6'4", over 330 on the bench.
Yeah, they came out, and I said, bro, who is that kid? He goes, oh, man, he don't play. He's on redshirt this year. I said, he's on what? I was like, you better get him out there in some capacity. It's unfair. And in the press conference, Mike Minter in the press conference said, listen, we knew our offensive line is like 5,000 pounds. He was like, they ain't gonna hang with us.
Boy, and what I didn't understand, Blue, is they went 3-3-5. And if you're an offensive lineman and you played the position, I mean, you're just licking your chops because it's literally you're just looking for the linebackers. Once you get past that nose, the tackles are going to handle one-on-one. The guards, they eating to the linebackers. We're gonna touch the nose, make sure our center got him, and we looking for the linebackers. I just didn't understand why they didn't switch it to a 4-2-5.
I don't think they had the size. Let's be honest. So they ran a 3-3-5. Their number 0 was their only guy that was over 280 on that defensive line. The 2 DNs were like 250, bro. And so when I just read you the tackle stats, all the tackles are going to do is push out the DN, get him either upfield or out of the play. You're going to double the nose and or double work up to the linebacker. And then you're still going to have 2 guys plus a tight end that's going to have a free reign at the linebackers or the DBs. And listen, with the 3-3-5, depending on how you align too, sometimes there are just natural rushing lanes in a 3-3-5. The 4-2-5, 3-3-5 are kind of like a defense that are in the same breath. If someone's running down your throat, you have to put a 4th defensive lineman down because one, they didn't adjust. But then the problem, Scotty, becomes if you put an extra guy down, you lose a DB or lose a linebacker. If Haj Malik gets out the pocket, it's over.
It's a wrap.
And you still got Julian Hill, 6'6", 250 to deal with at tight end going downfield. You watch the wide receivers continue to make plays. And also, they rotated 3-4 running backs all game long, and it was just fresh body after fresh body. And then with the offense not establishing consistency, eventually at the FCS level, you're going to get tired. You don't have the depth to do that.
Yeah, and you saw it just waned on them, and they literally listen, this is what shocked me the most about that game, Blue, is how big they were, how fast they were moving, being that big. You just explained it. Nobody under 300 bills, and the way they could get to the line and snap it again, get to the line. And we're talking about Malik Hodges running for 20 or 30 yards. They're at the ball, back down, snapping it again. I'm just like, this tempo is unreal for an offensive lineman that big. It just don't make sense. Even at Oregon with Chip Kelly, I'm sorry to cut you off, he went slimmer. You have the Lane Johnsons, you know what I'm saying, the tackles that are 6'5", pretty much like tight ends in high school, but they became tackles in college. But the guards and center, they were small, athletic guys.
That's what it gets, because sometimes when people are analyzing coaching staffs, it's always about the OC. It's always about the DC. The strength and conditioning coach sometimes can be one of the more important pieces for a program. When you look at those Alabama teams early, Scott Cochran was sometimes more famous than the DC in Tuscaloosa because of how he developed talent. And that's what you get. I just read all those stats off. A lot of those guys have been at Campbell their whole career.
Wow.
So development matters, man. And when you look at some of the best offensive lines in the FCS, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Delaware, Campbell, all our talent that have been in that program, that have developed chemistry, that have been developed in-house. Sometimes going out and getting a bunch of transfers that don't gel well together doesn't work. And that's what you're seeing right now is the programs that can develop talent are the programs on the rise.
Man, and what they're doing, what Mike Minter is doing there, and I might be jumping the gun just a tad bit, kind of reminds me of the old UAB coach down in Birmingham, how he kind of built this thing and he start becoming a legit contender for his conference. I'm looking at what Mike Minter is doing and having the time that they've given him to have the #1 FCS class recruiting, having it, probably about to have it again. You just text me, he got another 4-star running back that's coming to
They got a 3-star today before the show. That's their 14th 3-star commit. He's a corner out of California. Scotty, they have like 8 commitments out of like the same area and like St. John Bosco in that area. All come from there, like 9 players. How are they recruiting California from Bewes Creek?
Listen, Mike is doing something special down there, man. I might have to go get me a Campbell shirt or something and meet him and have you hook me up with the SID or something. But what he's building and truly trying to establish a program is amazing, and I can't wait to see what it looks like 3 or 4 years down the line here. All right, let's go into some week 6 matchups. That's what. Oh no. Let's get into some. Let's get into some breaking news. And I know you want to talk. Kennesaw State is in plans to move to Conference USA. Listen, you the guru. Walk encyclopedia. All right. Tell us how you feel about this move and what do you see Kennesaw looking like?
Man, it was a matter of time. I think I put them on the countdown clock a few months ago where I was like, it was going to be them or Eastern Kentucky. But due to the fact that Western Kentucky, similar to how Florida doesn't want Florida State in the SEC, I don't think Western Kentucky wants Eastern Kentucky to jump up. They're like, bro, we got this state. Please stay away.
Yeah.
But it's big because, one, they get the Atlanta market. We've talked TV markets. Atlanta is huge, and Kennesaw is a giant program and a giant college there. But the bigger storyline is, man, the ASUN put them on life support, hooked them up to the machine. We got to monitor the heart rate because there might be down to 4 teams right now. And the WAC in the coming years is going to have 6 eligible playoff teams once Tarleton and one of the other schools finally gets off, not probation, but they moved up from D2. So there's kind of like a mini postseason probation that they can't perform in the playoffs. When they come off, the WAC might not need the ASUN. So now you're looking at the Big South already has something with the OVC coming up. Where does the ASUN turn? Can they reach out to the MEAC? Could they reach out to the Southland? Where are they going to go to, field a conference? Or on the other hand, do you just go ahead and say, listen, it didn't work. Let these teams go back to their respective conferences. Let Central Arkansas go find another conference. JSU's gone. After this season, does Eastern Kentucky move back to their old conference? That's a lot of question marks. But the one thing that people are getting caught up in is Kennesaw State's attendance. It has never been over 10K because their stadium capacity is like 8 point something.
Yeah.
They're going to have to expand the stadium at some point. But I think the NCAA has set the precedent that they're not going to they're not going to enforce that as much, especially with how crazy conference realignment has been. They understand that they need bodies, and so they're going to make an exception. But Kennesaw is going to have to garner more fan support, and on top of that, they're probably going to have to renovate that stadium. And so those are the next 2 question marks for me. Is you've got till 2024 now, potentially. It might even be pushed back. Nothing's set in stone yet. What are you going to do in terms of facility upgrades to catch up with the rest of the CUSA? And that's my biggest question with this move.
You know me, I'm not an FCS guru. I like to keep it simple. Should the ASUN start looking for partnerships? Should they start looking to blend this program or this conference with somebody else? Or should FCS programs start looking at who can we pick off and add to our conference and grow that way? Should the MEAC be looking at a conference to bring in and say, hey, we would love to have you over here in the MEAC? Is that a possibility as well, Blue?
Maybe for some teams. I mean, listen, Austin P, if they could convince Tennessee State to jump from the OVC, you get 2 Tennessee schools, possibly in North Alabama. I mean, that's really not out of the footprint, but you're going to find hard pressed to say, let's add Central Arkansas or Eastern Kentucky to the MEAC. I mean, Eastern Kentucky possibly, but man, Central Arkansas is way you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's way out there.
I think Central Arkansas would better be fit trying to follow Murray State to the MVFC if they potentially could work that out, and or maybe just jump into either the Southland or the OVC. That would be my move for them. But if Eastern Kentucky or North Alabama or Austin P decided to jump to the MEAC, man, I would love to see it. I think Austin P's probably most likely would probably just jump back to the OVC if I had to guess, though.
Man, this is crazy. Just to have a whole squad not too long ago, and now you're looking at, one by one, your teams are just dropping out. If the teams don't with the MEAC, could the ASUN just dissolve and then these teams become independent? How does that work? When
I don't think they're going to go independent. Listen, independent at the FCS level is a death sentence. And even at the FBS level, unless you're Notre Dame, BYU, or one of the service academies that's done it, it's a death sentence at any level to go independent. Unless you're unless you're backed by an absorbent amount of money, which none of these schools are.
Mhm.
EKU is the next team that if I had to put my money on someone moving to FBS, EKU is going to find a way to jump. They would probably be my number one candidate to be the next to move. Tarleton and Stephen F. Austin are getting affairs in order potentially to make a move,
Mhm.
but I think Tarleton has only been at FCS for 3 years now. They're not even eligible for the FCS playoffs yet, and they're already talking about moving to FBS. So
Wow.
they're moving. But I think EKU, I don't think anyone's going to go independent, Scotty. Like I said, Austin P has the OVC potentially to jump back to. Central Arkansas, I think they should go back to the Southland. And if I'm EKU, I'm saying, please don't forget about me. Let me get that FBS invite and let's see what we can do here while we're doing good. Because listen, they got Walt Wells, hell of a coach. They're competing for playoff opportunities. I think this is the time for EKU. If they can jump on this CUSA bandwagon or even a MAC bandwagon, let me get that invite. North Alabama, most likely, I would say jumps back to like the OVC or Southland, because I don't know if North Alabama is a name that many people are going to be fighting over, to be honest with you, at the FCS level.
That's fair. Now, could you see, we got to throw some little HBCU sprinkle in there. Could you see a Central Arkansas could you see the SWAC looking outside for a Central Arkansas? It's not out of its realm. No, that's a negative.
No, the MEAC, in my opinion, I think the MEAC would be more likely to add someone like that rather than the SWAC. I think the SWAC knows they got the power, and I think the SWAC's main focus is going to be on Tennessee State, if anybody.
Well, for me, I look at it like this. If we're looking at it overall in the conference, you're looking for great football. Like I know the SWAC isn't looking at great. They're looking at it, we're going to keep it black, we're going to keep it insulated, things like that. I look at it as that if you could grab an Austin P that has a great football program, if you could grab a Central Arkansas, which has beaten a lot of SWAC teams when they've played, you know what I'm saying? Like, just off the football aspect, I think if you could grab an Austin P and get that into the SWAC, I think that elevates the football. Remember when we talked about what value do some of these teams bring that you want to add to the SWAC? It's just a body at this point. You know what I'm saying? Why not add an Austin P? Why not add a Central Arkansas that adds some type of different dynamic to football? You know what I'm saying? Just the added football to your program.
Okay, so this is a twofold question to a point, because there's some underlying things I think we're overlooking. Because Jackson is the wild card. Because if the SWAC gets wind that Jackson is looking to jump, me and you have had conversations about what conference is going to jump in and try to just grab teams.
Yeah.
Can you take a risk of upsetting some members who want to keep it all HBCU by adding a UCA, by adding an Austin P, given that Jackson might make that jump and those programs could be pissed and take that opportunity to jump to that other conference?
Do
you want to risk it? Because I think you're thinking in football logic. Yes, Austin P brings way more value than UAPB on the football field.
Absolutely.
They bring a lot of value, more than 80% of the SWAC right now. But do you want to risk the connections behind the scenes? And I think you got to look at it more politically, more so than just football.
And I think Phil Ross kind of goes to the narrative that I'm trying to change, is that it's only SWAC good. Because when you add an Austin P, if you drop a Valley to D2, right, and you swap out UAPB for Central Arkansas, that sounds like a good move. I mean, UAPB does have a lot of history within the SWAC, so definitely if you drop Valley, because Valley should be at D2 regardless. So if you could drop a Valley and add an Austin P, I mean, that's leaps and bounds above anything that you could have brought in HBCU wise, other than the history and tradition factor, and not solely being based on football. But that's just, I think if the SWAC really wanted it to be about sports and the football aspect, you have to at least talk to the teams and be like, what's your interest, Austin P? What's your interest, Central Arkansas? I mean, I think that's huge.
It'll be interesting to see if the ASUN goes the route of, before trying to dissolve, could they try to throw some, not funding, but like opportunities at Valdosta State or West Georgia or West Florida or whatever it is? Could they try to target some of those top D2 teams in the Southeast region? that'd be the question for me. If you can get someone like that and Valdosta State can make it and they get that stadium renovated, they get some facilities up. And I've talked to Leon in my chat. I don't know if he's tuned in tonight. He's a Valdosta State grad. He said Valdosta is going to have to make a complete 180 in terms of their commitment to athletics to make that move. But if the ASUN offered a good enough package and or a vision to them, would they be willing to do that? In West Florida, I've been there. I've been because like some of my friends had volleyball tournaments over there, things like that. They got some really nice facilities, and that was like 5-6 years ago.
I can only imagine what it looked like now.
Yeah, so those two or three D2 teams could be X factors, I would say, but I think overall, Ben, the MEAC would be more likely to do something like that rather than the SWAC, because we know at the end of the day, it's more, as much as you're saying, if you're thinking football wise, because I agree with you there, but let's just be honest, the history, the rivalries, the tradition mean a little bit more than in terms of elevating the play of the conference.
I can respect that. I can see both sides of that, because that's what we deal with when hearing both sides of the argument. Is it about, is it going to be on tradition and rivalries, or are you trying to impact the profile of your conference? Are you trying to grow the profile of your conference? And that's a decision that SWAC fans are going to have to dwell over. And I don't know if commissioner is the right person that sees past the rivalry, that sees past the tradition and says, hey, let's just go get a football brand and add it to our football powerhouse, you know what I'm saying? Or, the super conference, and build that brand. I think, I like that look, but, to each his own.
I like this too. Delta State to the SWAC could be interesting. I don't know what their facilities look like per se, but I don't know why that hasn't been, because I feel like, let's just be honest, from the people I've talked to at Tennessee State, Delta State to the SWAC is more likely than Tennessee State to the SWAC.
Don't say that, Blue, because hey, the SWAC faithfuls be mad. We want Tennessee State, we want them, but hey, listen, they say we like where we at. You know what? If you could swap Valley for Delta State. I mean, no, seriously though. I mean, they're literally 20 minutes down the street, maybe 30. So it's all in that same vicinity. So if you drop Valley to D2 where it's supposed to be, and you go get a Delta State, what's the issue? You know what I'm saying? Like, the only issue is that you're gonna have people talking about Jerry Rice and Archie Cooley and Willie Totten, they were SWAC legends. Well, they don't got SWAC money, okay? And they're SWAC broke. They're FCS broke. It is what it is, man. You can't listen, man. Stop trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. They ain't got it, okay? They ain't got it. So just
Lawrence, that is a bold statement.
If Delta State moved this SWAC, they can do a celebration. Oh no, they'll be competitive. I'll tell you that. They'll definitely be competitive, because I can see them beating the UAPB. I can see them being competitive against Texas Southern. I can see them being competitive against Bethune. I can see them being competitive against Alabama State. So I'm not saying they're going to beat them, but I definitely think they can be competitive in a lot of these games. So yeah. So I think
I'm with you.
I think Austin Peay would be I think, man, but listen, I'm on that Central. I think Central Arkansas, and if you got UAPB, you can cake at Central Arkansas. But whatever. I'm neither here. All right, let's get to these Week 6 matchups, Blue. What are some matchups that you're excited to see? I know you're going to be at the Jack State and the homecoming for Alabama State, but what's some other games in the lineup that you're interested in seeing?
There's two of them on here. I think Norfolk versus Morgan is extremely interesting, because this is going to sound crazy, Scotty, and I know some people are going to be mad that I said this. This is almost a must-win for Morgan, because if you lose to Norfolk this year,
can't believe
it's tough.
Can't believe nothing else. Can't believe nothing else. You're looking real good. Can't believe nothing else.
Yeah, like, come on, man. You gotta beat Norfolk this year. They are terrible this year. If St. Francis is beating Norfolk State, I need Morgan to pull through. That defense is legit, Scotty. And if their quarterback can just bring some consistency, if they go out here and beat Norfolk by 2 scores, North Carolina Central next week on Thursday, that game got flexed to ESPN2 on Thursday night. they got to be a little bit nervous, right?
Listen, I think North Carolina Central need to be nervous regardless, because this is what I have an issue with when you have a team like Morgan State and Norfolk. It's twofold. Is Damon Wilson going to have his team to play at their level and not at Norfolk State's level? That's the key, because I'm not saying Morgan State has the right to be like, we're Morgan State, we're going to beat Norfolk, but you've had enough wins and you've had enough good games to say we're better than Norfolk State and we should not lose to them. The real issue for NCU, North Carolina Central, coming up next week is Morgan State playing up to your level, because it's possible. If they can pull off, if they play like they played against Sacred Heart, I don't care what North Carolina Central is bringing, they have a chance to win that game. So
you got to be concerned, though. If you're Central, I know we're looking way ahead. We kind of got off track here, but like with Campbell running the football, Morgan might be like, we don't need a quarterback. Morgan's running back, Alonzo Graham, is a monster. Dude, they might go in there and say, okay, bet, we're going to run it right down your throat, just like Campbell did. But listen, I think Morgan wins this one. I have my trust in Damon Wilson. Scotty, you know, since he was hired, I have been saying that was an amazing hire for them. I think if you give Damon Wilson a year, Morgan State competes for the MEAC next year for sure, if not this year, if they pull off the upset next week. And then the other games, Bethune-Cookman, Tennessee State, just a little insider info. They listed them as game time decision. Draylon Ellis is going to start at quarterback for Tennessee State again this weekend. He's back from injury. They got a handful of people back from injury. I think Tennessee State bounces back this week, Scotty. And I think this is a must win for both teams, because if you lose this game, I don't see a lot of wins left on either one of these guys' schedule if you just lose all momentum like that.
Yeah, I think listen, if it's a must win for Tennessee State, it's a do or die for Bethune. It's do or die. And I hate to say that, but it is, because their schedule gets no easier, right? And then at the end of the day, you've given away a lot of games. Like, the only game that you kind of took was the Grambling game, but everything else you have literally gave away, just either off of it. I know you're going to say something, playing the wrong quarterback, not having the right person playing the quarterback position that has put his team behind the chains and, behind the 8 ball at the quarterback position. So that is what it is. Let me say, this UAPB and Texas Southern game is very interesting to me, because listen, Texas Southern and Andrew Body have to get back on track. You should have, you let the Alabama State game get away from you. You lose that game, right? You came off a Southern victory, which should have propelled you. You came off a good outing against UTSA, and then you end up losing to Alabama State by 3 when you dominated the game. You dominated for 3 quarters. So in UAPB, I think they're just ripe for the taking, if I'm being honest. I think they're just ripe for the taking for Texas Southern. But this game to me is more on Andrew Body and that offense than it could ever be on what UAPB is doing. So Andrew and them need to get it going. I thought that.
He took my comment, because when you finished, I was going to say, listen, we saw the first coaching change in FCS yesterday. Wofford's head coach resigned after an 0-5 start. They're like 1-15 in the past 2 seasons. If Texas Southern loses this game, I think McKinley's fate is sealed if they lose this game.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm telling you, Herm Edwards on the field right there. We ain't even talking, baby. Don't get back on the bus. Find a way home. You know what I'm saying? Hitchhike, because you're gone. So it's a catch-22 for me, because I talked to my girl earlier. I said, babe, you think I should do like a fire campaign for Clarence McKinley, like every day go live just to say he needs to be fired today? Like, I was like, I do like the next 45 days, just like a campaign. Every day I get on this live and say, fire Clarence McKinley. And then I start my show. So I'm kind of on that bandwagon of I don't want Andrew to lose. I really, me, that's my guy. Andrew, buddy! But if it ends up with Clarence leaving, I'll be a little bit happy. I can't lie.
He says it's a bittersweet taste.
Yeah, it's such a bittersweet, bro. It's such a bittersweet, bro. Shout out. And shout out to my boy Trey. He told me he's gonna be starting kicker. He's gonna be the starting kicker for UAPB. So shout out to him. Hope he gets it. I hope he does well.
I think Texas Southern wins though. If I'm going to give my prediction for that game, I think Texas Southern wins. I didn't cover that game because to me, Scotty, this looks like a game. If Texas Southern doesn't win this one by at least 2 scores, then that's a little disappointing.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Wholeheartedly agree with you, man. This is a game you got to come out because it doesn't get in. I mean, they play in 2 weeks. They play Alcorn for their homecoming. You know what I'm saying? So they're on 2 people's homecomings. You need to be 2-0 because I'm gonna be I'm gonna be at the reservation, and you know who I'm gonna be rocking with. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Is Big Worm on the hot seat? I don't think you put Odoms on the hot seat after he had a decent first year where he was in battle for the MEAC, and then this second year is going really bad.
I was told they can't. They signed a 6-year contract. He hasn't even finished year 2. They can't afford that buyout. Yeah.
Absolutely. He's gonna enjoy them 6 years of getting paid. At least 5 of them. All right. You already know the very interesting matchups. Listen, Blue. Let's go with your game first, sir. The game you at. The game you're gonna be at.
I'm not even excited. Like, I'll be honest. Look, because I messed up because listen, this is what gets me, Scotty. A little story time here. Just a sidebar, I guess.
Come on, talk to me.
Bro, SID's got to do better letting people know when like okay, cool, y'all. Because I love the teams that have the credential application on their website because I don't like emailing SIDs and like bothering them, be like, hey, bro, can I get that credential?
Yeah.
So I applied for Alabama State. Apparently, I applied for South Carolina State. Don't remember doing that for this weekend. The South Carolina State SID emailed me today at like 3:30 and was like, hey, are you still coming? I'm like, bro, I live in Mobile, Alabama. I'm going to need more than 12-hour notice if I'm going to travel to Orangeburg, South Carolina. Like, bro, like, what are you talking about? But, man, the Alabama State one got back to me yesterday because I didn't know what game I was going to be at. I had Mercer, Western Carolina set up. I had Alabama State, Jackson State set up. I wasn't to travel. So I made my predictions because I was like, man, maybe I just won't travel this week because no one got back to me. I make my predictions, then everyone gets back to me. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I already picked. So I got Jackson State winning this one by 1 million. I mean, this ain't even going to be close, bro. I mean, Scotty, tell me. Okay, you could be my counterpart here. Tell me why Alabama State has a chance to win this game.
Grit. That's all I get. That's the only word I can give to you. Because nothing football related to me with it. Nothing football actual related would make sense for me to tell you that Alabama State has a chance to win this game. Other than this is the only thing. And I talked to somebody from Jackson State. They said, Scotty, the only thing that we're worried about is Demetrius Davis turning back into a gamer. Because he said we watched him in high school, and he in the biggest games he always showed up. So they're just worried about Demetrius Davis being a gamer for this one game. That's the only. He said that's the only thing that can save him. That's all. That's all I could think of. That's all I could think of because I saw the highlight. Listen, I was at Auburn when he committed. Like I remember, I was the biggest D Davis fan in the world. Like I've seen what he can do. It's just, man, like it just. Like because I went to homecoming last year for Alabama A&M, so this is the second homecoming I've seen Jackson State play in, and man, you ain't got to kill glass. You don't have what any of the wide receivers that Alabama A&M had last year. It's like, man, I don't know what to expect. Maybe listen, I'm hoping the crowd's electric. I'm hoping the recruits being there motivates, and I don't know about you. Watching the press conference each week, Dancy looked like he was defeated on Tuesday. Or on Monday when that press conference was. Hugh sounded defeated. For me, though, Eddie Robinson Jr. was the only one that didn't sound like he was scared. No, he didn't.
Him and Bubba McDowell have the weirdest quiet confidence about them that I've ever seen in like the press conferences, man. They just have like this weird confidence. I'm like, bro, what do you know that you aren't telling us?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're hiding something. And maybe they come out and play well. The one thing you have to do is, man, explosive plays cannot happen. If you can make Jackson State drive 10, 12, 13 plays down the field, that is better than you know, putting a little drive together, getting a field goal, and Jackson State scores in 2 plays. That sucks the air out of your team, the
Absolutely.
stadium. And listen, this comment, I don't think ASU is a bad team. It's just I don't know how they match up very well against Jackson State right now, really and truly. And it's like, do you trust Ja'Cory Merritt, Scotty, to be a 20-25 carry back and be able to create enough explosive plays in the run game to open things up for D Davis?
I think he could, but I would. That means, but I'm more on the offensive line. It has nothing. I think Ja'Cory Merritt as a running back is talented enough to do what he does. If you give him 20 to 25 carries, I think Ja'Cory Merritt and Santo Dunn, if they split 30 carries, they could give you a total of 175 on the ground. I honestly believe that. But your offensive line is not that good to give them 175, no matter how talented they are. I mean, they're not Barry Sanders, they're not Saquon Barkley, to where they can make 4 guys miss and then break for 30 yards. So that's the biggest issue for me going forward. But I'll tell you this. I texted a kid from Alabama State. I said, what's it looking like, man? He said, we going to be prepared. That's all he told me. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is the one thing. I've talked to Irshad. I've talked to Bubba. Irshad is he's just a different mentality. He just has that, like, we'll see. Like, we'll show you. Now, does that translate to all 22 people? I do not know. But I think defensively, I have more faith, and this is going to sound really bad, but I have more faith defensively that they won't get blown out than I would do offensively scoring points. And let me make this very clear, and I want to say this. I want to understand what I'm talking about when I say I think that Alabama State can hold these guys to 35 points or less. Defensively, I believe that, right? But if it's 35-3, it just looks bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't score points too. You know, so people be like, oh, it's a blowout. But I'm like, with the high-powered offense of Jackson State, I think holding them to 35 points is a good game. I really do. I would give Eddie Robinson credit if they held him to 35 points. But if you're not scoring, if it was 35-18 or 35-17, I could be like, that's not a bad game. You know what I'm saying? With everything that's put on Alabama State that they have to, I'm like, that's not a bad game.
I was thinking earlier, Scotty, I'm going to ask your opinion on this. And this is something that I had to wrap my head around because I was like, am I really thinking this right now? Okay, there's some big games this weekend. Let's just keep it honest.
Yeah.
Georgia Auburn's this weekend. Georgia's a 30-point favorite. Bama A&M's playing. Bryce Young's hurt, of course. So they're still a 20-something point favorite. You know, Jackson State's line hasn't came out yet. I'm assuming it's probably going to be somewhere in the 30s. This is the craziest thing ever, man. Jackson State losing this weekend would be the biggest upset in college football, regardless if Bama and Georgia lose, and regardless if even North Dakota State got upset this weekend.
It will be the biggest upset in college football?
Right, this week, yeah. I can't think of another, like, bro, do you know what would happen if Jackson State lost this weekend to Alabama State? I can make an argument in my head that A&M has a chance to beat Bama. I can tell you how Auburn has like a 0.2% chance to beat Georgia. Like, I don't see how I can't see it.
Man. Oh, listen, man. This is the thing for me, Blue. I can make an argument, and this is how my argument is going to be made, right? This is the key. The key is not the first half. The key is the second half.
Yep.
That has always been the issue for any team playing Jackson State. They run away on you in the third quarter. It just is what it is. So to me, if Alabama State can go into the half 10-7, 14-7, 14-3, that is a win. What you cannot allow to happen is 21 unanswered in the third, 30 unanswered in you can't do like 28 points unanswered. You cannot do that. That's where it comes down to for me is the third quarter when Jackson State runs away with you. If they can keep this game close in the fourth quarter, anything can happen. Because Jackson State, once again, even with Tennessee State, they had to find a way to win that game, and they struggled just to find a way to win. Sylveon Wilkinson kind of dragged them to the finish line. I want to see them get into a fourth quarter brawl. And I think, listen, I really honestly believe, I think Demetrius Davis as a runner could be effective if they get him in the QB power, if they get him in the option. Because him throwing the ball, if it's not one-on-one, I'm not asking him to throw into double coverages. I'm not asking him to throw into tight windows. I need him to throw one-on-one, no safety. If his receiver don't get it, nobody else gets it. You get what I'm saying? So I
feel it. No, listen, I want to say I hope it's competitive. Any game I go to, I'd much rather cover a Southeastern Louisiana Hail Mary over Incarnate Word than go into a game and watching like a 55-point beatdown. Like I think no one enjoys that. Like no one wants to see that. So I'm excited to see it. But man, also with Jack State coming off a bye too, like Jesus Christ.
To me, that's the worst. If I'm being honest, the only thing that coming off a bye can do, like, if you get your guys healthy, cool, great, got it, good, right? But you're still rusty. That's the issue with coming off a bye. A lot of times you come off rusty. A lot of times you can play down to your competition. It happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, football is such a weird game. You know what I'm saying? It only takes one hit to the wrong person to change the whole dynamic of a game. It only takes one fumble or one pick, one tip ball to go somebody's way, and the game changes drastically. Momentum is a weird thing, man. So I would never say that. I would never say never, because I've seen enough football to know, like, wow.
Bro, I watched Howard beat UNLV as like a 60-point underdog. Like, I'm never going to say never, but man, it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be very tough, man. But I'm way more excited for the game you're at.
Oh, man, listen. Since we talking story times, let me tell you a story time real quick. So, you know, I do a tailgate tour, right? I do a tailgate tour. So Miss Diane reached out to me and she's like, yeah, Scotty, come to my tailgate. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, bet. I'm in there. So that's why I'm here. DeQuincy's like, hey, Scotty, I heard you coming down to Orangeburg. Man, I got an Airbnb. Would love for you to rent it out. I said, cool. Hey, what's the price? All right, cool. We'll do that. All right, so staying at his Airbnb. So I go there. We go there today just to spot the field, where I can set up, stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking. I'm like, all right, ain't no power out here. So I text Miss Diane. I said, Miss Diane, does your tailgate have like power? Oh, I didn't know you needed power. I was like, how am I going to? Now this is in my head. I didn't say this. Let me be here. I didn't respond because I'm like mad. Like I'm like hot right now. I need to let me take this down so y'all can see how mad I was. I'm like, how you not have power at a tailgate? How do you think I was going to broadcast with no power? What sense are we? So I'm texting everybody I know in the air. I'm like, hey, do you have tailgate? Do you have a oh, Scotty, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm tailgate. I don't know. But listen, shout out to Claflin. Shout out to Dr. Warmack at Claflin. Called one of his deans. His dean said they tailgating. They got some power. So I'm going to set up over there. But, man, listen. And shout out to DeQuincy. He said he's going to hook me up with a generator as well. But let me say this. If you invite me to a tailgate, have power, okay? Now, the MEAC, you already looking I'm looking at you a little side-eyed, okay? Come on, man. Like, what are we doing? I'm about to listen. I'm about to just cut the MEAC off and just go back to the SWAC because this is ridiculous.
I'm blaming Mr. Campbell. Listen, I don't know if Mr. Campbell's too now. I'm blaming him. As your lawyer, he should have put that in the fine print before you agreed to any. He should have read it. Listen, Mr. Campbell calls in here all the time giving legal advice. How did you not put that in the fine print? Listen, Scotty, I'm letting you off the hook. Mr. Campbell, that's on you.
Oh, man, listen. How you have a tailgate with no power? Like, oh my God. That's like tailgating 101, right? It's tailgating 101. You got to have power, but hey, man, they out here. I'm like, what am I supposed to do my show with smoke signals? Like, what are we doing? Listen. You talking about frustrated?
Oh man.
Oh man. Hey, yeah, Dr. Warmack. He a basketball legend down there in Delta State. Hey, Dr. Warmack is listen, man. Dr. Warmack is the real deal, Holyfield. That dude cool. If you at Claflin University or you at South Carolina State, better come over to Claflin, my alma mater. Went there for a semester. I ain't graduate like you, Blue. I ain't graduate like you. But hey, let's get back to this game. All right, Blue be out here graduating from everywhere. Everywhere. You got a PhD in like neuroscience surgery or something like that. Anyway, South Carolina State FAMU. Listen, I'm super excited. Let me also tell you, I bought the wrong side tickets, bro. I didn't want to sit on the FAMU side. I wanted to sit on the South Carolina State side because I want to be like, get up. Boy, I'm on the wrong side, bro. Like it's just a whole mess out here, man.
The whole trip went
internet bad. My hotspot ain't working. Like I'm not supposed to be here right now. Anyway, but so I'm really excited to see what Nix looks like in a full game. Because if you watch that South Carolina University game, he was a difference maker. Like truly difference maker. Not the best passer, same issue with Corey Fields, but a much better dynamic runner. I want to see how they add that dynamic with Kendra Flowers, and I want to see how they get Shaq going early. I think this is going to be the battle of the quarterbacks. I think Musa is going to have to come to play. He's going to have to be more consistent. And listen, if I'm South Carolina State, I am taking away Xavier. Go look at, listen, man, for the last 3 games, this is called scouting, all right? And I'm not really, I know South Carolina State has a great staff. They have a great defensive staff. They really do. Not for North Carolina A&T because they got your ass whooped, but that's neither here nor there. But if you go back and scout, FAMU, Xavier has always had the most targets in the last 3 games. I think at Albany, he had 11. I think at at A&M, he had 12 or 13, maybe 10 or 12. He had targets. And then this last game, I think that was the last game, A&M. Yeah. So you got to take Xavier away from Jeremy. You have to make him uncomfortable, make him throw to Shareed, make him throw to Maningo, however you pronounce his name. You got to throw it to the other guys because he wants to go to Xavier, take him away from him, and make him do something different. But I'm excited to see this game. I don't know who I picked. I don't remember who I picked, but I'm leaning towards South Carolina State. And I don't know. I've just had these weird feelings about PV and South Carolina State winning their games respectively. So we'll see.
Did they announce the other guys the starter over Fields already?
Oh, Nix is starting.
I hope so.
Nix is
I hope so because Corey Fields is completing less than 44% of his passes right now.
I didn't even know you can get that low. Didn't even know you could get that low.
And 5 interceptions to 6 touchdowns too. By the way, for the season. As much as the quarterbacks are going to matter, Scotty, I really do think FAMU, if FAMU is able to take the A&T, I would say, style and bring it into this game, FAMU is going to be looking damn good because Jennings is finally healthy. McLeod's finally healthy. The kid from Pitt, if I'm not mistaken, is healthy again. If they can run like A&T ran against South Carolina State, control the time of possession, get the score up a little bit, and make South Carolina State throw the football, man, FAMU could have a dominant game. And also, man, if Isaiah Land impacts the game like he did last year, man, it's going to be tough. And I just want to say Isaiah Major is making a hell of a case for SWAC Newcomer of the Year.
Absolutely.
On the defense side of the football.
Absolutely.
Almost 40 total tackles. I mean, he's all over the field. And I wonder if he's the X factor to control the new quarterback. Because you mentioned his athleticism is the number one thing. Major is just as athletic as him.
Mm-hmm.
If he's a spy, I don't think that kid's going anywhere.
I don't agree with you on that. Now you could probably the way he was looking at South Carolina University. Now you would be like, Scotty, South Carolina University is not that good. You know, you could say that because you know you're good for that. You would say trash, not good, Scotty. But that kid's dynamic, man. I'm that's something I'm gonna have to see with my own 2 eyes. I won't say what he can and cannot do, but I'm excited to see the matchup. I'll tell you that. Because if I'm South Carolina State, I'm definitely doing some options. I'm definitely doing some, of course, inside zone reads and things like that. But I'm also adding the RPO game. I think a lot of people got to understand that these offenses could be that much more dynamic if you added a passing element within the inside zone and the zone read. Just because you let me get on my soapbox real quick. Just because you run the zone read off of a DN does not mean you cannot still throw the ball. Okay? I've seen it all the time. They send a tight end late across the middle. You have the receiver as a smoke guy, so you'll zone read and you'll throw it down the line. You can do so much more than just a zone read. So please add another dynamic or dimension to. And if I'm Alabama State, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm adding another dimension to my zone read with Demetrius Davis and making that pass that much more easier.
Oh yeah, you jumped for me. I was like, wait, what? Which game were we previewing?
Yeah,
I was talking about the wrong team.
No.
No,
Both. Yeah.
I got FAMU winning this game, man. I trust their run game more. I trust their quarterback more. And right now, I trust their secondary more to make life a little bit hard on that quarterback. If they can force a turnover or two, then FAMU's going to pull this one out. On my website, I predicted this game. I got FAMU 23-17 over South Carolina State.
I got South Carolina State 28-24. 28-24. Alabama State, Jack State. I got Jack State winning this one, but I got it 35-17. 35-17.
I got to figure out what score prediction I put on that. Okay. No disrespect to Alabama State. I got Jack State 55-13.
All disrespect. All disrespect. When somebody starts a sentence with no disrespect, they mean every bit of that, what they just said. All right.
That's probably what Draymond said to Jordan Poole right before he threw that punch. He's like, listen, no disrespect, but you're going to have to catch this.
Oh, man. Hey, no disrespect. Snap, crackle, pop. All right, listen, game of the week. Hey, man, if there was another game that I probably would have gone to, it would have been this one. Oh, yeah. Nelly, it definitely would have been this one. I would have caught myself up in Houston. Blue, what is your what's your view on this game?
If you want to talk about a must-win for school, it gets no deeper than Southern this weekend. Like you have to win this game. Like if Dooley goes back home and loses this game, oh man, I don't even know what to say at that point. Like that press conference is going to be awkward. Awkward. Come on, man. You can't leave a school, take the one of the best players transfers, you take the other one with you, and you still lose. That can't happen, man. But listen, it can. And Bubba McDowell, I'm telling you, everyone's got to have to stop doubting him, man. Every week, someone doubts him, and he just keeps winning. They might not look great on offense one week. They still find a way to win. Their defense may give up a few plays here or there. They still find a way to win. And it's like, eventually, we're just going to have to say they might not be a perfect team. They got some flaws. But guess what? Even with all these other flaws these other teams have, they can't find a way to win. PV is just winning. And at the end of the day, I'll take a team that plays B- football and wins over a team that plays B+ or A- football and consistently loses somehow. You've got to give them credit for winning. I think PV wins this game, Scotty. I think their ability to run the football is just too much, and I just don't trust the offensive play of Southern to score against this PV defense. I think they're going to turn the football over, and if there's a team in the country more motivated than what PV is going to be this weekend at home, I need you to point them out, because PV is going to be the most motivated, pissed off team this weekend. I think PV wins this game, Scotty. I don't remember the exact score I gave on my show, but if I'm just going to try to give one to you. I think PV wins this game 27-20 over Southern.
27-20. All right, let me get the call lines open.
You are the only participant in the conference. All participants are muted.
All right, so let me say this. I mean this with everything I love. if Southern, I'm gonna two-part this. If this game goes over 30, Southern wins it. I'm gonna just say that right now. If this game goes over 30, Southern's gonna win it. I don't think that PV has the scoring power to keep it up in the 30s and 40s. I don't believe that is what it is. But I'll say this. If Southern cannot take advantage of the stuff that I've seen on tape when it comes to PV's secondary, now Bashawn McCray is he is no Justin Herbert, okay? Let's be very clear. He ain't no Justin Herbert. That kid he's okay. I'll give him okay. I won't go hard on him. He's okay. But if you cannot take advantage of the style of defense that they play, because I'm telling you, their DBs live at 7 to 10 yards. It just is what it is. If you can't if an offensive-minded coach cannot take advantage of that, I'm going to be questioning the offensive-minded guy. I love what you said about he just finds a way to win. Because at the end of the day, what Al Davis said, just win, baby, because that's all that matters. Get the dub. I had PV also winning this game, and this is why. I think PV knows who they are. Southern still does not know who they are offensively. They really don't. They don't know if they want to throw the ball with Bashawn McCray. They don't know if they want to run the ball. They don't know what they are. So that, to me, is what the biggest hindrance is for this. But I'll tell you one thing. If that D-line, now, mind you, they were playing UAPB. But if that D-line comes to play like they did against UAPB, Conley is going to be in some trouble. Because from what I've been hearing, Dumas is fully healthy. I don't know if Jordan Lewis pulled his hamstring or if he's going to be in this game. But you got Trey Lane, you got the Greenhouse kid, you got the kid from Arkansas. Like, you got some talent. You got the kids from Bowie in there. You got Corian Harris, who is playing lights out.
Oh my goodness,
he's playing lights out at the safety position. They have too much talent on this team to lose this game. So the mere fact that I feel that I'm picking PV is a shot at Southern, because there should be no reason why nobody is picking PV when on paper you're the better team. And that's facts. That's nothing to on paper. Southern is the better team, but they still do not know who they are. So for me, I had to roll with PV because I will take a team that knows what they're trying to do, know how to do it and attack it, and make you play their style of football, which is slow, methodical, boring, like the Spurs. It's slow, boring, but it works. So I also have PV winning this game. I have PV winning this game 24-17 PV.
Real quick. So if they lose this game, they'll be sitting at 2-3. Their only SWAC win is what, UAPB last week?
Yeah.
And that's their only D1 win as well, because they beat the JUCO school down in Florida. Then they got Alcorn next week. Any faith in that if they lose this week?
No faith at all.
So 2-4. They get another JUCO school, so we'll give them a win there. Then at Jackson State, at FAMU, then you still got to play Valley. Then you still got the Bayou Classic coming up against Grambling.
Listen, it's going to be if this is the start to let me say this. If you're thinking about competing with Jackson State, you have to dominate this game. You're going to have to steal Deion's moniker. You're going to have to dominate this game. And when I mean dominate, I mean 35-10. 35-17. Like, they should not even be on the field with you guys. That's what this game needs to look like for anybody to give you a chance against Alcorn or Jackson. You're going to have to dominate this game. It's no question.
Well, what does it say about? So what is the narrative? Because we'll just keep it. What's the narrative? If Bubba McDowell takes PV back to the SWAC championship without Jawan Pass, without Jason Dumas, without the safety that went to K-State, without all these key pieces, he still came in late because PV made a real late hire, a real unorganized hire. If Bubba McDowell comes in and takes this team to the SWAC championship, if they beat Alcorn down the stretch, what is the narrative then?
Damn, Blue, I can't even tell you, bro, because I'll be still shaking my head and watching. I'll be in utter disbelief, bro. I'll be in utter disbelief. I don't know, bro. I do not know. I couldn't even tell you. I really couldn't even tell you because it's like, because you could always say, I would agree. I would give him coach of the year. I'll give him coach of the year.
You got to.
I'll absolutely give him coach of the year if he takes this team to the SWAC championship. Absolutely. I don't give a damn if Deion beats everybody by 70. You were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely give Bubba coach of the year. But then you start thinking like this. A lot of people say, well, Dooley recruited all the players he's got. So, because think about it, Blue. If let's say Nick Saban leaves and another guy comes in, they're going to say that's all Nick Saban's guys.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's just
that's a fact. Yeah, they would too.
They would say that it's all Nick Saban's guys. So it's really all Dooley's guys. He's been there. He was there for 4 or 5 years. So all these guys are mostly guys he'd already brought in. You know what I'm saying? It's
such a slippery slope with that one. Like I mean, you got to be kind of looking sideways, like, damn, bro. Like he really came in here with a quarterback who no one thought could throw after the first week. 0 for 6, 2 interceptions, and won the SWAC West.
Facts.
Over Hugh Jackson. Over Dooley with Southern, over McNair and Alcorn. That's impressive. I don't care how you slice it. I mean, that would be impressive.
And doing it different ways. Like it's not. I mean, okay, we win against Texas Southern. We don't throw a pass. We go for 300 yards. We win that game. We play Grambling. We get 2 defensive scores. Like it doesn't like they just win by any means necessary. It's the ugliest stuff, but it is what it is.
That's a good point.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. You ain't lying. That's true. So, I mean, to me, if I'm Southern, I gotta be kicking my. If he see, and I know people be like, okay, Scotty, you're taking a short-sighted view of a long-term plan, right? So if Dooley loses to PV, well, he could come back the next 3 years and beat PV in a row. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible. So let's not act like it's not. My issue is if I'm Southern, I'm mad at myself because I could have got somebody else. I could have got somebody else that would have probably given me a bigger buzz than a Dooley. You know what I'm saying? And this is, to me, this is strictly trying to show up your ex-girlfriend. That's all that it. Listen, man, your girl dips you. Your girl dips, she comes back or whatever, she goes a certain place. This is strictly trying to, I'm showing up, I'm trying to outdo my ex-girl. Yeah. And show her why she shouldn't have left.
As bad as this loss would be, though, I really do think Dooley, the one game you cannot lose is the Bayou Classic this year.
Oh, yeah, Gramblin's just too bad.
If you lose this game and the Bayou Classic, Jesus, this offseason is going to be long.
Super long. Super long. Hey, real quick, hold on, Blue. Hey, DeQuincy done brought this. Listen, man. Mr. Edwards done brought this generator in here, man. And I'm looking. Look, let me turn this thing around. He done brought this generator in here, right? I don't know if y'all can see this. I don't know how to work this thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm a city boy. I have never used a generator in my life. I don't even know how this thing works. I don't know if you plug it in, huh? No, it's fine. I mean, I don't need no commercial break. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how to use this thing. You know what I'm saying? Put gas in it. You know, do you rev it up? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to work this thing all day. This ain't huge.
I guess the perks of being from the Gulf Coast, man. All them hurricanes, you got to know how to use a generator.
No, I don't know how to use none of that stuff, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But hey, let's get some callers, man. Hey, call lines are you did your score, right, Blue?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me put this down. Call lines are open. 518-263-8124, 518-263-8124. All right. Dre, coming to you. Hey, calling you live.
Yeah, man. First of all, I got a comment on the generator. I know both of us in the Army. Surprised you ain't used one.
I did. You know, I'm glad you brought that up because we had to cut the extension cord, pigtail it, put it to the hot, neutral, and then ground it. Yeah.
Especially, I I was a 25 Bravo.
Yeah.
So if you was like a 25 Unicorn or something, I know y'all used it.
Yeah, we did. Now that you brought it up, yeah, we did have them janks in the field. Them all brown janks. Yeah.
It was hard to put up too.
Facts. Appreciate that. Now you taking me back. You
But
taking me back.
I do think this is a must win for Dooley because it looks bad. It just looks bad. I mean, you think about with Golden State. Steph even said the ring they won without Durant is the most important one and everything. And if Dooley doesn't win this game with the better team, with the team that he left and he took and a bunch of players went with him, you know, especially it's not like Southern wasn't stacked. He went to a team that was stacked. Everybody was talking about their recruiting. So it's definitely gonna look bad. He's definitely gonna have to renew, and also it's just gonna be good. So I'm personally hoping Southern you lose because I want to see what the narrative is gonna be.
Ooh, I'm on the same boat as you, bro. Now I don't want PV to win because I can't stand the PV fans.
Yeah,
but boy,
they gonna be on your head too.
Boy, but I tell you this, it's
They gonna
nothing
be
better than seeing Southern fans attack Dooley. Boy, I swear to God, it'd be nothing better than making that narrative.
Boy.
Telling you, that'd be fun.
Especially when he was the golden boy, the begotten son, and he brought everybody down, the old coaches, old players. This is gonna be that year. So I hope PV wins. I think it's gonna be a good game. But I agree with you with the score too. If PV could keep it low and everything, I think they'll win. But if it gets over 30, hey, Southern's gonna pull that out.
All right, man. Appreciate it, Dre.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Listen, Blue, could you imagine, dog? Could you imagine after that if PV beats Southern with that? Woo-wee! That would be epic, bro. Epic. Hey, come on, man. You know, I feel you. Come on. 1027 coming to you, then 4488, and then 9868. All right. So 1027 4488, then 9868. Coming to you, 1027. You're live.
Hey, how you doing, Scotty? How you doing, Blue?
What's good?
What's goody?
Hey, do you think if Dooley loses every game but beats Grambling, that this still is enough to? Well, I mean, you can't fire the guy because you just got him this year. But do you think what would that narrative look like to you?
That they made the wrong hire. That's my narrative.
Yeah.
That's my narrative. I mean, at the end of the day, if you win the Bayou Classic, that just helps you, like, you know, it's his first year, because you could always go back to the first year jitters, Blue. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd be like, oh, it's his first year, give him time. But for me, I'm like, you made the wrong hire, because I said it from the jump. I was like, I don't think you should have been hired at the position. That's just me. But what you got, Blue?
I mean, the fan base would be pumped. I mean, anytime you win a big rivalry game, like, I mean, even if Auburn is 1-11 and Bama's 1-11, winning the Iron Bowl is a big deal. That's like winning the Natty, you know, to the fans. But I guess in like the grand scheme of things, as like an analyst, I mean, you can't lose every game. Is what because that would include losing to what, Virginia Lynchburg.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
If you lose to Lynchburg, I don't know what to say. But if you're just talking about losing the rest of the conference games and beating Grambling, listen, it's the first year for Hugh and Dooley. I don't think it matters what happens this year. All it's going to do is make the seat a little bit warm in year two, but no one's at risk of losing any jobs. It's just you lose a lot of the momentum and the expectations going into year two.
Mm-hmm. All right, you guys have Alabama A&M at 1-4, Bethune-Cookman 1-3, Mississippi Valley 0-5, Texas Southern 1-4, Grambling 1-4. Who do you trust to turn around the season and make it look okay at the end of the year?
I know a lot of people are going to be surprised. I actually think Grambling can do it. And the reason I say Grambling is because I know they have the talent. I think that's the most frustrating part to me about Grambling is I've seen it. Like when I'm watching the film, I'm like, number 10, special. Chalk, special. Lamborghini, special. Calvez, pretty good quarterback, you know, for a SWAC comparison. pretty good quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So I think they have the possibilities to turn it around. You know, I listen. I would say Texas Southern, but I don't trust the coaching. I just don't think the coaching trusts Andrew. So for my pick will be Grambling. What you got, Blue?
I think it's going to be Alabama A&M. I do. I think their defense is good enough to keep them in enough games. They've really, outside of the Jackson State game, I think they've played some of their tougher games already. When you look, I mean, I'm not faulting anyone for losing to Austin P, UAB, or what was it, Troy? Was the other one that they were competitive for 3.5 quarters against FAMU, and that they got on the right track. I think A&M has an opportunity to really turn things around. If I had to pick a close second, I think it's Texas Southern. I think when you look, they got some games coming up that I think they have a chance to win. So I think those would be my two, but I think A&M would be my pick to turn it around.
All right, my last question. Mississippi Valley has Alcorn State, Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman, Alabama A&M, Southern, and PV. Are they getting a win?
Nope.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's
great. No.
All right, thank you for answering my question.
Nah, man, great questions, though. Great questions. Yeah, that's a hell no.
A disclaimer. If something happens like what happened with PV last year, where someone plays like a late P5 game, everybody gets hurt, they might catch them. If it's in the Delta, but other than that, no Valley's not getting a win this year.
Oh man, that's a tough one. 4488 coming to you. They calling you live.
Yeah. I can hear me?
Yes, I can. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Hunt, calling from Arizona.
Talk to me.
All right, so I wanted to ask y'all a question. So looking at we're a quarter through the season, kind of. I want to ask y'all kind of which team would y'all go with? And I know Blue kind of did this A, B, C team thing last night. But let's say a Tennessee. Let's say a Tennessee State with a 0-4 record, but they played a bunch of hard teams. Let's say a Jackson State 4-0. They say the schedule relatively easy, and then you got like a Southern that played top tier and bottom tier. Like I want y'all to answer like as a coach, AD, and then as a player, which team would y'all kind of go going forward? Like what would y'all want to be at, or where would y'all want to be at?
Go ahead, Blue. Nah, go ahead.
It's kind of you got to pick the 4-0 team, right? Like I mean, I get they haven't played anybody, but you got to. If I'm a player, I want to be on the team that's sitting at 4-0 with a chance to win the conference. Like, don't put me on a 0-4 team or anything like that. Like the blind resume thing I did last night was more for like playoff like consideration and things like that. So that's why I was looking at the strength of schedule, how many top 25 wins, how many what else, FBS wins, things like that, point differential, like that matters for like the playoffs and things like that. I think if you're a player or a coach, you're always going to pick the 4-0 team, even regardless if you just have 4 D2 opponents. Like I'm still taking the team that's undefeated, that has my holes, that has a chance to everything I wanted to accomplish in August is still ahead of me. A lot of these 0-4, 1-3, 2-2 teams, all the goals are already done. So you're just playing to play at that point. So I would go with the 4-0 team.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with Blue. I'm gonna go with the 4-0 team because let's say, A&M beat Troy, right? In the grand scheme of things, does it really matter in the SWAC? No. It matters none in the SWAC, but if they would have done that, I would have been like, I like A&M schedule. I like, I would have been like, as the football person in me, I'm like, yo, I like that Alabama A&M could have gone into Troy and beat Troy, or gone and played Austin P and won. But as of right now, yeah, you got to take the 4-0. That doesn't even make sense if you don't.
I was just asking because I know it's all the talk preseason about scheduling and scheduling. Everybody want to see these hard games, but I'm like, that's not even paying off mentally for half of these teams that schedule those hard games. Do y'all agree with that? And that's my last question.
I think it's tough because what you realize with hard teams is that what gets you by in the SWAC doesn't get you by against a good team. Like if playing 3.5 full quarters doesn't make a 4-quarter game. You know what I'm saying? That, and let's use A&M. If A&M learns how to close out games, they could have been 2-1 coming into the SWAC. If we're being a whole buck about it, the Austin P game, it was 7-3 going into the fourth quarter, or I think it was 10-7. And then the Troy game, the Troy quarterback had nothing for Alabama A&M's defense. They got the ball in the red zone like 3 times. They couldn't score. So to me, the problem that I have with a Jackson State schedule is that the talent on your team does not reflect in your scheduling. That it just doesn't. And to me, I would think that you would want to show your dominance by scheduling harder opponents. But no, you rather sit on your laurels and just dominate your conference without having to challenge yourself. Now, I know for a fact the Campbell game fell into their lap. And I know that for a fact. And I'm not going to say how I know. It fell into their lap. They didn't go out, oh, yeah. It fell into their lap. It was supposed to be somebody else. So I just have an issue with that. Now, granted, Campbell looks like it's going to be a decent team, so that might be your only challenge of the schedule. But, it is what it is.
Got you. All
righty. Appreciate the call, bro.
So, Scotty, I pulled it up while he was talking because I wanted to ask. I pulled up the Massey strength of schedule rankings, which is what the playoff committee uses. Which SWAC team do you think has the hardest schedule as of right now, and where do you think it's ranked?
I think A&M has the hardest schedule, and I think it's ranked 80th.
54th, actually.
Oh, that's not bad.
Valley's second at 63rd. Texas Southern's up there, 72nd right now in terms of schedules. Alcorn at 76, which is actually really good for, where Alcorn's sitting in terms of their record, I would say. But then Grambling's 92nd. Then Prairie View's 96, Bethune-Cookman 97th, FAMU 99th. Then you get to the 100s. Alabama State's 105th, Southern 106. And then you got, Morgan State is down in the 100s. Jackson State is 115th out of 130.
There are 15 teams away from 130?
Yeah. And just to let you know, the Pioneer League accounts for almost every spot underneath them. And then the notable teams below Jackson State, Hampton is 117th. North Carolina Central is 119. UAPB is 122nd, probably because they played a bunch of D2 teams. And then Delaware State is 125th. All the rest are like Pioneer and NEC teams that are just like trash.
Come on, bro. Come on. And the thing about North Carolina Central is you did it to yourself because you scheduled 2 back-to-back D2 schools. Like, I'm like, why? When you had a great schedule coming in, and then you had to, if you just take one of those D2 schools off and have another great out-of-conference game, you're probably in the 80s or the 70s.
And they also do strength of schedule ratings for your future schedule.
Yeah.
Too. So you combine them to kind of get about where they would fall. Jackson State's future schedule, including Alabama State moving forward, is 107th in the country.
And then you have foolishness like this. Like, no, they need to schedule a Harley damn schedule. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's
let's just be honest. Okay. It doesn't mean anything for the SWAC. That and Terry, I never agree with Terry, but he's right. The crap doesn't mean anything to the SWAC because there's no incentive for the SWAC to schedule hard games. Because let's be honest, listen, every other conference outside the SWAC, MEAC, and Ivy League, and even the MEAC, the second place team, it kind of has a little bit of, I would say, motivation because potentially you can get an at-large bid with the MEAC because you don't have a conference championship game. So your true second place team could potentially get in, like what's it called? South Carolina State in 2019. There's no incentive to schedule hard games. Everyone else has to schedule a tough schedule to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you have an incentive. That if you don't go to the playoffs, there's no incentive. So if I'm a SWAC team, hell yeah, Virginia Lynchburg, roll up. I got an opening. Why not?
He said roll up.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not blaming Jackson State for anything. I get it because I would do it too if I was in the SWAC. But at the end of the day, you can't be like, okay, well, in the Walter Payton rankings, in the top 25, and da da da. It's like, don't be upset when it comes back to bite you in the ass and other reasons.
He said roll up. Oh boy, you stupid. You stupid, Blue. That was funny. That was hell yeah, roll up. Like, boy, you dumb. But yeah, like, and to me, it's like this. So let me ask you, Blue, you're a voter. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel like the people who be doing like the Hall of Fame votes, they be like, you tell me, you a voter. Like, you're a voter. If you got a kid whose strength of schedule is above 60, who has the same numbers compared to a Shador whose strength of schedule was 1/15th, who are you picking?
I'm just going to let you know, and this is going to piss some people off. If Weber State wins this weekend, they're jumping Jackson State in my rankings. If Holy Cross wins this weekend, they're probably jumping Jackson State in my rankings. Like, I mean, I told everyone 7, maybe 6 on some ballots is the highest Jackson State can go. Like, you can't do anything, because what happens, Scotty, when Delaware ends the season with 4 top 25 wins? And then I flipped it and said, are you dropping, like, let's say South Dakota State, North Dakota State, whoever you say wins the game, beats the other one by 3 points, and it's a competitive game. Are you dropping them below? I mean, this is even a Jackson State conversation. Are you dropping them below Delaware, Holy Cross, Jackson State, Chattanooga, Mercer? And it's like, nah, bro, like, you can't drop that team that far for a good loss like that. It's just, there's a ceiling to it. And I'm not hating on anybody's schedule. And listen, I get it, because there's no incentive to. Why not rack up some wins?
Do what you do. Hey, what do they do? Like for boxers, to build your resume, you get all the little lower people. Hey, I'm about to go to Paris. My girl Paris, she calling in. I got you, P. Hey, what's up, Paris? Talk to me.
Okay, so Blue, my question is, how is it that Southern has 2 NAIA schools on their schedule and only had LSU strength of scheduling is better than JSU?
Well,
like,
the strength of
schedule. Other schools have D2 schools, NAIA schools on their schedule, but Jackson State didn't have not one this year. How is that?
Because the strength of schedule is only measured up to this point. So that second D2 game isn't being weighed into Southern's strength of schedule right now. So you got the LSU game and the D2 game, and the LSU game greatly outweighs that D2 game because LSU is a top 25 school right now.
You get what he's saying, Paris? He said so until they play.
Yeah, I get what.
Yeah. So as it updates, like, Southern's going to end up finishing behind Jackson State in strength of schedule. I'm just going to let you know.
Okay, I just wanted to hear that part for Casey.
No. This is just strength of schedule up to this point. Like, this doesn't include games that haven't been played yet. Like, Southern's strength of schedule future is almost 20 spots lower than Jackson State.
Okay. That's all I wanted to hear about how the voters or whatsoever does the strength of scheduling.
Got you. All right, P.
Okay. All right.
Well, she called it like P. Don't even be calling in like that. She said, "I just need clarification."
She just had to make sure. Yeah, she just had to make sure.
She said, "This is for you, KP. Since you don't want to call in, I'm gonna get the clarification for you." 9868 coming to you. Hey, caller, you live.
Yo, what up, fellas?
What's goody?
What's going on?
What's up?
Fella from the Jack.
Talk to me.
Question. Everybody said, Blue, you answered one of my questions I have about strength of schedule, but something you've been saying, Scotty, but a little bit different, pivoting. How do y'all feel about the SWAC adding the second bowl game in Birmingham, since pretty much the city's gonna, it's like a damn near free stadium from what I'm hearing. The second place SWAC team gets to a bowl game, because if they don't want to go to playoffs, because it's kind of wasted right now. The second place SWAC team just goes to the house. You know what I mean? How y'all feel about that?
It depends. I guess it would depend. Are you going to get as lucky as you have? With Celebration Bowl continuously has great matchups. Like, are you going to get the same impact there? with that? Like, I mean, is anyone? I mean, I get the fan bases are going to be interested, but is the TV deals and everything going to be there for a second place bowl game? You know what I mean? Like, I don't. It could happen, but I mean, where would you play it? When would you play it? And would there be enough incentive outside to say, yeah, we're going to do $1 million buyout with this one too, and have an ABC contract and everything like that? And if you're going to do that, why? Like, I don't understand why they wouldn't reach out to the FCS players and be like, well, why can't this be a first round game? Like, it just, to me, I just don't see the money in it. And if we're talking, if the reason you don't play in the playoffs is money, is then I don't see why that is going to be bringing in a lot of revenue for anybody.
Well, hear me out. This is just hypothesis. Well, not hypothesis. It's just they got HBCU Go and the Plus Class, right? Whatever it's called, HBCU Push Class. What's it called, Scott?
HBCU League Pass Plus.
I mean, that's a market right there. You know, that's a TV station, right?
Okay.
And obviously, you're not going to get that million. You're not going to get that $1 million. You know, I'm not asking. I'm just making something to make it more profitable than the playoffs. I mean, personally, I'm with y'all. I want them to go to playoffs, but it don't look like it's happening unless the playoffs get totally revamped. Which is another question I have after that statement I just made.
Okay.
About,
so,
they can put it on.
This is my issue.
You
Right?
heard me?
Okay. I get what you're saying. You're saying, hey, another like an HBCU Go can sponsor a bowl game. Well, I don't think that's going to happen because, like Blue said, the best teams are going to the Celebration Bowl. The thing for me, and I'm always going to keep saying this, there should be a playoff system for the Celebration Bowl. That to me will allow, and this is the thing, it gives you a rematch. It could give you a rematch of a SWAC championship. It could give you a rematch of those type of situations, right? So you'll take 1-1 from the MEAC, and they'll play the other 2 from the other conference. You get what I'm saying? So Jackson State might play Morgan State, and North Carolina Central would play PV, right? So then they'll play each other, and whoever wins out of those games, they meet up in the Celebration Bowl. That's how I would do it, and I would increase the money for the Celebration Bowl. So I'll make the Celebration Bowl $3 million, and that second game maybe $1 million. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's how I would do it to keep the interest draw. But I wouldn't make a completely different. I would make the Celebration Bowl, but I would have a 14 playoff system to get to the Celebration Bowl.
Okay. I hear you on that. This is something else I got. Wolf of Blue. You know how the FCS takes about 60-70% of the gate from the playoff games? Is that correct? Something like that?
Yeah.
All right. Why can't the FCS, the schools within the FCS, they say screw the NCAA, let's go create our own playoff outside the NCAA, kind of like the FBS does it, because the FBS playoff has nothing to do with the actual NCAA. That's all their own.
All right, let's just keep it 100 here. The same financial issues that y'all talk about with just FCS HBCUs. A lot of FCS schools have those same financial issues. Eastern Washington ain't got the money to say F the NCAA. We're gonna go do our own thing. Like, as much as everyone screams like, "Oh man, North Dakota State's rolling in dough," they ain't got enough money just to give the NCAA a middle finger. Like, it's just not going to happen. When you look at the FBS, I really don't think people who haven't peeked behind the curtain understand how much money those schools have that aren't even reported. Like, when Gus Malzahn got fired, they owed him like a $25-30 million buyout. One person paid that. Woo! A singular person paid that. Like, that's the type of money that is flowing. Like, Auburn coming in this year is going to be paying like three different coaches buyouts in the millions. Like, I don't think people understand how much money is behind Ohio State, behind Notre Dame, behind Michigan, behind Alabama, behind Georgia, behind Auburn, behind LSU, behind Texas, USC. Like, you're talking about, if you took all the FCS budget money behind these programs and pulled them together, and you just took like the top 5 or 6 programs from the FBS, like, I mean, you cannot compare it. at all, like the type of money that's behind these FBS programs. So they got a college football playoff, and the payouts to these conferences are millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like when you're getting $100 million in television revenue per school is the type of money you're talking about every single year. So I don't think the FCS has the power nor the national interest. Because let's just be honest, as much I get it, the attendance is great at FCS HBCU games, but let's just keep it a buck. FCS football across the board is a niche is a niche market. It's not a national market like FBS college football is. It just isn't. The TV numbers speak to that. The attendance speaks to that. The money speaks to that. Everything. So I don't think you're going to get. I think when people try to apply what's happening at the Power 5 or FBS level to FCS, it is in people, I say apples to oranges. I mean, it's like comparing an apple to a damn monster. Like this not even like why, like what do they even have in common? It's not it's not even comparable. So I don't think that would ever work. And at the end of the day, man, up until there's more proven interest for the FCS, and also just there's so many political structural issues at the FCS level due to the lack of power that they have in the grand scheme of things in the NCAA, that, man, a lot would have to change before that ever was even considered.
Man, that's crazy. Oh man, appreciate the call, guy. 4708 coming to you, then 0527. You're next. Hey, caller, you live.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Montana. You know who I'm talking about.
Montana.
You know what? I'm gonna try to talk about the Big Sky Conference. The conference actually go for a national title. You know what I'm saying?
Talk your mess, man. Talk your mess.
I got one guess on what channel he's calling from.
Go ahead, man. Talk about the Montana.
Yeah, I'm a big Montana State Bobcat fan, and the conference is looking wicked tough. We got 4 teams in the top 10, but the Bobcats, they have the easiest schedule on the way out. We have to play 2 top 10 teams, but they're both at home. And compared to all the top 5 rest of the teams, they got a harder schedule, but we're very injured. Our defense is looking shaky, but I think our schedule favors us very well. But our conference is tough. Even UC Davis is still tough, but they're out of the rankings. Idaho's coming up quick, and they're playing against the Grizz this week, and they're going to show – they always play the Grizz tough because they got a little border war. I think our conference is the best in the conference in the league right now, personally.
Depth-wise, it is. I'm just gonna be honest, especially with the way the Idaho's developed. You said everything. I mean, you just said it, Scotty. I don't think people in the chat or you even register what he just said. He said we played 2 top 10 teams, and our schedule is the worst in the conference. Like, bro, that is insane.
Right?
That is insane.
But is
because we have them at home.
Montana State? That's the one with Bobby Petrino?
No, that's Missouri State.
Oh, that's Missouri.
Okay. So Montana, that's the guys you like, the linebacker and the.
Yeah, that was where Troy Anderson was from. That linebacker,
Okay.
that was
Gotcha,
ridiculous.
gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
That's where the GOAT came from, the legend.
That's the GOAT. Oh man.
Oh, I love it. I love it, man. I love it. So what's the question?
That man is a god over here. That guy can't walk around Bozeman anymore.
So are you asking?
Touching the Bozeman boy, he can't walk around anywhere anymore. He got so popular in the preseason.
So are you asking Blue like how you think you guys are going to shape up with the rest of your schedule?
Yeah, I want to hear what he thinks about how he's going to feel the conference is wrapping up, because the Grizzlies just showed that last week that they're very beatable. They played a terrible Idaho State game and team then won by 8. I know 2 touchdowns came late, but you're supposed to blow out a team like that when you're top 3 in the nation. So yeah. I want to hear what Blue thinks of like the finish of the Big Sky Conference.
All right, man. Appreciate the phone call, bro. Real talk. We thank
Appreciate you, man. Man, I know Montana didn't play well last week, but man, I still just in terms of pure talent, man, if they play their best game, I don't know if anyone in the Big Sky can touch them. Montana State's got to get healthy. Man, their backup quarterback, Scotty, put up 400 yards of total offense and like 6 touchdowns last week.
Woo! Come
Yeah, their
on.
backup quarterback. I mean, just balling, and they're missing their top 5 running backs on the roster. Yeah, 5, and their backup running back this past weekend put up over 100 yards rushing too.
Oh,
By
man,
the way,
that's
Elijah Elliott.
that's some depth. That's some depth.
It's some depth. My team that I think people got to watch out for is Weber State. When you go and beat a Utah State 34-7, you're just cruising, and they just look impressive. I would say Weber and Sac State would be my sleepers, but I still think Montana is going to do enough to pull it out. But do not sleep on Weber and Sac State. I think Montana State, though, they're gonna get into the playoffs. I don't think that's a debate. I just don't know if they have enough this year to get past Montana. But there's like you said, their schedule shapes up nicely. I think they can probably finish with 2 losses because they have a loss to Oregon State. I think they can finish with 2 or 3 losses and still just be just fine going into the playoffs.
Man, there you go. There you go, Mr. Montana. All right, Montana. 0527 come. No, I think I already answered that one before. 7301 coming to you. Hey, what's up, KP?
What's going on, Scotty? What's going on, Blue?
What's good?
What's good, man?
Can't call it, man. Just calling in on the topic, man. Just to give you guys a little feedback about the fan base of Southern in this game.
Oh, please.
Let's go down the rabbit hole. So I'm gonna say this, and I'm kind of giving you kind of some foresight of what the fans may kind of the energy they might be when if Southern ends up losing. So if they loses this game Saturday, the fans are going to be pissed, of course, but the fans are only going to want Dooley to win 2 games, Jackson State, Grambling. If he wins those 2 games, everything is cool on the bluff. If he splits those 2 games, everything is still okay on the bluff. If he loses both of those games, if they lose Saturday, it's gonna be a rough offseason. He have to come in this offseason with a damn 5-star quarterback coming in or something. He have to make a splash in the offseason in recruiting to get back in the good graces of the fans. If he loses this game Saturday, if Southern pretty much is out of the contentions of the SWAC championship, he has to go 2-0 against. He has to win Jackson and he has to win the Bayou Classic, and he'll be cool. He split those 2 games, he still be a little cool. But if he loses both of them games, hey, he need to bring in somebody that's gonna put fans in the seats, get the fan base back up excited again. He's gonna have to make a big old splash, a big splash in the offseason. So that's what I wanted to say. Oh, and the last thing, man, look, this money that these schools are getting, man, like I say, I'm plugging this little documentary. I don't get no residuals from it. I don't know nobody in it, but it's a great documentary on HBO. It's called The Scheme. They kind of break all that down. They talk about the contracts with these sponsors, Gatorade, Nike, all these sponsors that dump their money into these top universities, so into their program, their sports athletic program. So these schools are sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars. We don't even know, man. It's just ridiculous how long their money is. Like this documentary breaks all that. It's a good ass documentary, and I just recommend anybody to just put it in their queue and watch it. So I'm gonna land my plane, man. I just was calling in to holler at you boys, man. Y'all take it easy.
Hey, no problem, KB. Appreciate it.
Listen, Black Pilot, I love you. I need to know when Wagner became a top 20 FCS program. Wagner? Wagner? Dude, I don't think Wagner won a game last year. Hang on, we're about to do some research. Black Pilot, I think you off base on that one, bro. They're 0-4 this year. Scotty, they're 0-4 this year. Like, they just lost to St. Francis by 20. Like, St. Francis is atrocious. Wagner went 0-11 last year. In the spring, they went 0-2. When's the last time they won a game? Hang on, I'm coming. Oh, my bad. I forgot 2020. Not even a schedule. They went 1-11 in 2019. Their last win, Scotty, came against Long Island University on September 28th, 2019. Not a top 20 program there, my guy. Okay, I was about to say, when I saw that, my heart stopped. I said, Wagner? Like, that, no way he's talking about Wagner. I was like, man, no way.
Oh, man. He said he meant UIW. That's a big difference. That's a big
Bro, two different, like, man, that's
Hey, come on, man.
Wagner. God, dog. Anyway, we can go to the next caller, bro. My bad.
Oh, I'm in a
Had to
cardinal
address that.
I'm in a cardinal word. All right. 0527 coming to you. Hey, caller, you live.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is KJ calling FAMU alum.
What's up?
Wanted to just make a couple comments. I've been to just about every game except the UNC game. I had spoken with you guys earlier in the year of this mention about the loss of the two coordinators before and how that was going to hurt us. Another thing, man, that I'm seeing now, this game coming up tomorrow, it's good that we are playing a team like this, as I mentioned earlier, that after we had played UNC and JSU, the defense would probably start to look a certain way because of inferior talent. And a lot of times we'll think that, oh, okay, FAMU is back and they're doing great. Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to get challenged a little bit with South Carolina State. What I'm seeing, man, is that we don't have those dogs like what we had back in 2021. We don't have the kind of dogs that are just can, from Savion Williams and, we had our safety, pro safety. Those kind of, Collier was the other safety that was oftentimes when you're playing a 4-2-5, that safety has to come sometime and fill that beak out. And that's what Bell was notorious for doing that very well. And so that's why you're seeing sometimes long runs or teams can run the football on us. I'm very afraid, man, of these next two games because there's a certain kind of physicality that I've seen sometimes with other teams. You saw Alabama A&M do it. You saw Albany State do it with just flat out physically running the ball on us. And I'm telling you, with these next two teams, such as South Carolina State, and I'm telling you, Grambling scares me, man. That's a team that if we don't come out and try to knock them out early, we're going to have a hard time in the hole. And they could end up getting the first win against us from that point. But I'm just seeing a team that's just not there. And also, man, with the loss of KJ Black, what happens when you're the smartest guy in the room, such as Coach Simmons, you don't have someone to sometimes be able to maybe give a little challenge to say, no, we may not do that, because he's doing it all. He's pretty much the offensive coordinator, calling the plays, and if you don't have somebody in there to bounce things off, then it's nothing to be challenged, and he's just pretty much going out there and trying to run it, man. So let me get you guys' thoughts on that.
I like the soliloquy. I thought you made some valid points. Listen, man, when you lose two top safeties, like that's not, it's like losing a quarterback. You don't replace those guys with just any old people. And listen, I was never a Marquise Bell fan in the second, like I was never a fan of Marquise Bell in space, like catching and being a ball hawk, but filling the box, filling the alley. Oh, I wouldn't want to see him on my worst day. On my worst, I would not want to see number 5 coming to hit me. Like I just it's no way possible. He was an extra linebacker on the field that filled the lane. So I absolutely agree with you. And Collier was a great guy in space. He could play over the top, and the thing that made Collier and Bell, they were interchangeable. So there was no true free safety. You could have Collier the free safety one play, and you could turn around and put Marquise Bell at free safety on another play. So it was just really, really interchangeable. So when you lose two guys like that were staples on your back end, I mean, man, that's huge. With all their experience, I think Blue talked about it. When he came from Central Florida, he had like over so many amount of defensive snaps, was a freshman All-American. So he had the resume to go along with it. So, yes, listen, when you lose people like that, Savion, listen, man, it's hard to find a guy 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 280, and can move. You know what I'm saying? Do a spin move, do a drop step, do a slap spin, and swim. I mean, like, he could do it all at the D-tackle position. It's hard to replace those type of guys. You know what I'm saying? So, I agree. My only issue with FAMU has been you haven't looked great offensively, and your offensive coach is an offensive-minded guy. I mean, your head coach is offensive-minded. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's nothing you can tell me about that Jack State game that makes it explain why you only scored 3 points. It's nothing Willie Simmons can ever tell me. Oh, it was. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if you forgot your coaching sheet. You should have scored more than 3 points. That's just me personally, but teachers on what you got on the Blue.
Yeah, I mean, I think people underestimated the amount the losses were going to impact them. What they also lost 2 really great offensive linemen, an all conference guy in Keenan Forbes, Jay Jackson Williams, who has been there for a while as well, and on top of that too is just the QB uncertainty and just compounded with all the issues that they had to deal with. I don't think people realize you're dealing with 18 to possibly up to 22, 23-year-olds. I don't think people understand how much off the field things impact those guys' play, their focus, their preparation, and everything that FAMU had to go through for the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. I really do think leaked out onto the field. As much as they played, I would say inspired against UNC, it still caught up to them in the long run. And so I just think I really wanted to see what this team could have been if they didn't have to deal with all the off the field things, because a lot of teams in college football at the FCS level are not built for that.
I'm gonna tell you this much, Blue, and this is a little inside bit that a lot of people didn't know. Even last year, before the OVC, we had 13 guys that were not certified. It just didn't get out. Y'all just didn't know about it. So that's why Savion Williams didn't play. He was trying to get certified for that game, and because of the backwards paperwork, it didn't get out. And so we missed at least 2 or 3 starters that game. So that's why a lot of alumni was so pissed off that some of us knew about that had happened back in 2021, and for it to come back again in 2022, it was horrendous, man.
Yeah, I heard that's why. I heard that's why Savion missed 4 games because of that situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because of the paperwork issue. So that's that. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of that stuff does happen. The team kind of flows with it, and those guys are very resilient. But I think that sometimes after a while you do get a little fed up with it. With it just like the issue of not having equipment, man. I think Blue, I had talked to you about the North Carolina game, and I was mentioning about why in the hell would offensive lineman be out there without knee bracing. I know you were saying everybody has a preference. Well, that was another blunder, because as you've seen from the game on, all 5 linemen now they have offensive, and I don't know if somebody forgot them or something like that, but a kid ended up tearing his ACL, and now because they used him in practice, but you just kind of have those kind of different things, man, that are going on. But again, this is kind of a true test to be on the road, to see how we're doing. I'm kind of pissed off that we're last in rushing the football in the SWAC, which is totally, I don't understand that, man. I don't understand how we can be the last place team and running the football in the SWAC. That's ridiculous.
There's no way you guys are
last. I'm double checking that.
Yeah, hey, appreciate the call though, but it's no way you. There's no way you guys are last. I can't believe that one. Last?
They are damn sure last.
Dang.
88 yards per game.
Oh man, I wasn't expecting that. Wow. Okay.
Damn.
9834 coming to you. Hey, caller, you live.
What up, guys? How you doing?
What's good? What's your name? Where you calling from?
This Marcus from Virginia, bro.
What's up, Marcus?
All right, bro. I've already talked to you before, Scotty. You already know I'm picking PV to win this game. I think PV has a good defense. Bubba McDowell is a good coach right now to me. He's keeping it simple for Prairie View A&M, honestly. They're playing good defense and they're running the football. It doesn't get more simpler than that playing football. We're going to control the clock and we're going to jam it down your throat, whether you like it or not, and you're going to have to deal with it. I think this game is going to be a low-scoring game. I'm picking Prairie View A&M 27-20. And I also want to hear Blue's opinion on my Richmond Spiders in the CAA right now.
I appreciate you, man. That was also my score prediction too for the game. So both got that. Richmond's good, man. I don't think they're probably an at-large bid team right now. It's going to be a tough trek through the CAA, man. You got Richmond, William and Mary, Elon, Delaware, Villanova's still in the race. Monmouth has found their has found their footing. It's just going to be really, really tough. I still think Richmond with Reese Judinsky, one of the best quarterbacks at the FCS, I think they're still going to have a chance at a large bid. But right now, man, I would still put them behind Elon, still put them behind Delaware. And so I think they're somewhere in that 3 to 5 range in the conference right now.
I like the CAA this year. It's kind of like it's like a gauntlet this year. The teams they're coming up. When the CAA is rolling, when certain teams are rolling in the CAA, I think it's good overall for the conference. So I'm right here in Richmond. I go to their games. So, yeah. That's all I wanted, guys. Appreciate the call.
Hey, no man, appreciate it. Hey man, listen. I remember when I went to my Richmond visit. That field, that stadium it's in the hood. Okay, first of all, it is smack dab in the hood. Like driving, bam, in the hood. But it's nice though. Oh man, the stadium is lovely. They got that big old spider in the middle of the field. It's dope. It's pretty dope. We don't got no more callers, Blue. Your final thoughts for this? What's up?
We've had this question like 4 times in the chat, so let's hit it real quick.
Okay,
You think Draymond's gonna be back next year after everything?
I would let him go. And to me, it's the pattern. It's not who Draymond. It's the kicking people in the groin. It's the getting buck with Steve Kerr. It's the punch and pull. It's running KD out of town. It's all of that foolishness that is involved. You got to let him go. You know what I'm saying? And what's so difficult is he's not a point guy. Like he doesn't affect the game most statistically, but he affects the game emotionally and defensively because he's so locked in. So, but I think you got to let him go. I just I love Draymond Green. I've always been a fan. I think if I was a basketball player, he would be like my comp. That's how I play ball. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think you got to let him go. What about you?
If I'm Jordan Poole, I'm saying it's me or him. Because I'm with Shannon Sharp, what he said about it. He's gonna have to see me every day until I win a fight.
Yeah,
you might beat me for like the entire season. Game 83, I'm catching you.
No, you couldn't. Nowhere should you ever feel comfortable.
No.
Nowhere.
You
stretching. I'm coming.
You see that comedy sketch where they were saying you got to guard Steph Curry at like his bedside, like all day. You got to guard him at the 3-point. That's me with Draymond. When he wakes up, I might be in the closet. I might be behind the shower curtain. I'm catching him one good time when he's not seeing it.
I'm giving him the business.
Listen, I think people, I on one hand, listen, man, practice fights happen all the time. Like I think it's just the fact that the video got out and one, he like sucker punched his own team. Like, man, if you're going to fight in practice, just fight me. Like if we're I played O-line every practice. Scotty, you were a wide receiver. You saw the O-lineman, D-lineman fight all the time. All the time. Like we had a scrimmage 2-a-days in the state of Alabama. Listen, 2-a-days in the state of Alabama were vicious. By the time that second practice rolled around and we are scrimmaging, man, I'm sick of the dude next to me. Like, it got so bad one scrimmage at Baker High School 7A football, the head coach got in a fight with one of the DNs. Is that how vicious it got? At the end of the day, they just dapped it up. They both apologized, and we broke it down and went home.
Yeah.
But, man, you can't sucker punch your teammate.
You know what? And I'm not on the bandwagon of it's a sucker punch. And let me explain why. And I wish I had the video. A sucker punch to me is somebody who didn't see it. So if Jordan Poole would have turned his back and then Draymond would have hit him, to me, that's a sucker punch. Once Poole pushed him, right? It was game over.
I don't think Poole knows how to fight. Because I don't think he was, I really don't think he was expecting it. Scotty, go watch the video. He pushed him and he kind of like looked down and was like relaxed. Like he thought he was just going to push Draymond and it was over. Like
it was over.
I really don't think he expected Draymond to hit him. Like I don't think he understood. Like when you push a grown man with 2 hands full force, you listen, you can't put like Scotty, if someone walked up to you, just pushed you with 2 full hands.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to fight. And like I don't think Jordan Poole thought it was gonna. I really don't think Jordan Poole thought he was gonna get swung
No,
on.
I don't think he did either, because this is the thing for me. Once Draymond comes into like and I had to agree with Shannon. Once you come into my bubble, and my girl can contest, I don't like people. Listen, if it's one thing about me, I don't like people to come into like real close up on me. That really bothers me. Like, especially if you're drunk, that's the quickest way to get hit by me is if you come and you're, hey man, I love you, Scott. I like get up off me. You know what I'm saying? That's just, I don't do that personal space stuff. But once Draymond came in his personal space, he should have already had his arm up, like, hey, bro, like, what you doing? Like, hey, slide back. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you on? Like, back up. You know what I'm saying? That was my issue with, but he tried to get light-skinned cute. He like, hands on his hips. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't studying you. And Draymond Green, straight, listen.
The punch is a 10 out of 10.
Dog.
It's the way, because like the technique's horrible. Like if you ever taken boxing, like the jump with it, not great. But bro, the location and the power behind the punch,
smack,
perfect. Listen, he landed the punch perfectly, especially in crowded quarters. Listen, if Le'Veon Bell's boxing right now, Draymond's got a future.
But you know, it's crazy because what I loved about the punch is Draymond sticks it, but if you see him, he hits him and closes the gap so quick, so he's like on top of him. So if he really wanted to go,
I think Poole hit the ground, bro. I think he was out there for a second. Like I thought he got stunned.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
He got stuck.
What people got to understand is, listen, man. I don't know, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't know in the white culture. I don't know how y'all know like somebody's about to fight, but it's certain body language in black culture that you gotta watch out for. And this is the key. If you go back and watch the video, watch how Draymond's hand is between his legs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, like, you know, like it's just certain body language by black people that you just gotta be like pulling up the shorts. If a black person pulls up their shorts, a black male, he about to fight. If a black male puts his shirt pulls up with his shirt and drops it, he about to fight. If a black man goes like this or he takes his shirt off, he about to fight. If a black man scoots up his sleeves, it's certain body language that you just gotta be very keen on. Hey, it's about to go down. And I don't think
it's not even that. Like you got to know who you're dealing with too. Like it's Draymond. Like Draymond has proven he's not like he's going to hit you.
Yeah.
Like that'd be like if you're fighting Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's going to throw a punch. If the Morris twins, if you're talking with the Morris twins, they're going to throw a punch. If you were talking to Ben Wallace back in the mid 2000s, he was going Ron Artest, like they were going to throw a punch. But like if you're messing with Steph Curry, he's probably not going to throw a punch. You gotta know who you're dealing with.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, he's the low man on the totem pole. You get what I'm saying? He's not gonna fight Clay. He's not gonna fight Steph. You know what I'm saying? It's the low man. I'm not saying he wouldn't willing to listen. I think Draymond will fight anybody, but there's untouchables on the team, and those guys are untouchable. Jordan Poole's the low man on the totem pole, so it's like it's Jordan Poole. You know what I'm saying?
And he's coming for a spot in a way.
I heard they trying to get a big contract. But let me take Dre call. He might be on the. He might talk about that. Hey, caller, you live?
Man, I totally agree. I also think it's about how you grew up. As soon as my parents always.
Hey, your background. Hey, Dre, your background. Turn your background down for us.
Oh, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so my parents always taught me, you throw the first punch. As soon as Draymond came on, he should have got on the defense. Jordan Poole should have got on the defense. Second of all, because Draymond wants a max 5-year, 150 mil. I'm absolutely not signing Draymond at that. I'm trading him. You got to trust your culture. You got to trust Steph. You got to trust Kuminga, who you got waiting in the wings. So I'm taking a 22-year-old Jordan Poole over a 32-year-old Draymond, who really didn't play well in about 2 games in the finals. So it also comes with Draymond wanting to be a free agent and wanting max money. Doesn't help him out.
Facts.
Somebody's going to give him max money, but I'm not going to give him max money. I'm going to give the 22-year-old Jordan Poole, who averaged 19 points last year.
That's facts.
So appreciate that. I'm glad
Hey.
y'all talked about it.
Hey, no problem, Dre. Hey, listen, bro.
How much you taking to leak the video, though? If you're an employee and TMZ approaches you, how much they have to pay you to really leak that video?
Over $1 million.
Yeah, I got to be safe, right? Because I know I'm going to get fired. Like they're going to pull like that damn FBI in there to figure out who's like. I'm smart. I got degrees. But I ain't getting away with it. I know for a fact. But listen, I'm calling Mr. Campbell. I'm like, listen, I need a contract. I need a contract written up. Listen, I have to be safe moving forward.
Yeah. You know what? That's the number I was thinking. I thought I was too high though. I was thinking 5. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was like, that might be too high. That might be too high. But it got to be in the mills. It got to be in the mills. It ain't no 100K, 200, none of that. No. I need $1 million. I need cool.
Yeah, that 150K KP.
Nah,
no way.
Ain't. Now, if the video coordinator, if you make it about 60, 150, that ain't enough. I need at least about
like
70.
the minimal. The minimal. I gotta get. I have to get somewhere above like. It's gotta be 6 figures minimum. Like at minimal, but like I need something where it's like I can't. I'm gonna need to be paid more than like one of the higher up execs. So like I'm gonna have to be okay for a year. A year. Let me live off of. Let me get a job, bro.
You in Cali too, so you know the price of living is high. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it would be like, because you gotta think about it, they could sue you. So I'm probably gonna need money for a lawyer. So that's why it gotta be over $1 million, just so I can throw 100K to a lawyer to defend me. You know what I'm saying? So
I'll be negotiating a spot on TMZ. I'd be like, hire me. I'll bring the video with me.
Yeah. That when I saw the video, I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "They got the video." I was like, "Dang, TMZ, man, I don't know how
they got people everywhere.
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they.
You know when you get that little tickle in the back of your neck, like someone's watching. This is TMZ. They're waiting.
Hey, you got that video? Yeah. Actually, I got that clip. Oh boy, you stupid. But yeah, it's certain NBA. Let me tell you, it's certain NBA players that I would never fight. Draymond Green is one of them. Steven Jackson is one of them. Ron Artest is one of them.
Matt Barnes.
Ben Wallace is one of them. Who else? The light-skinned dude off of All the Smoke.
Oh, Matt Barnes. Yeah.
Matt Barnes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's who. That's what I just say. Yeah, him either.
Yeah, Matt Barnes. I stay away from them guys. You know what I'm saying? Like
anyone in like the late '90s, like Dennis Rodman, Charles. I'm good.
Yeah, definitely not Charles Oakley. I'm not fighting. So yeah, it's just. But like I said, you know who to do it to. You know, and I think he just picked the low man on the totem pole, and stuff like that. But man, that was crazy. I'm kind of glad they got the video out there. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with Unc, man. Shannon Sharp, man, you gotta see me on deck. You gotta see every day you pull up. You gotta see me, and I'm gonna catch it on video. The one I finally win, and I'm gonna post it
for free.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to TMZ and be like, post this, TMZ. Yeah, I caught him slipping, and I was waxing that, just giving it to him. Hey man, but what time you rolling out, Blue?
Man, I'm leaving early in the morning. I got to be there, pick up my credential at like 10 or something like that. Man, I'm trying to beat the traffic too. Get to that media parking lot and get on campus. I heard it's going to be insane trying to get into Montgomery this weekend, man. But I'm excited. We'll see if it's a good game. I'm hoping it's at least close for a few quarters minimum.
All right, man. Listen, guys, if anybody's out here in the FAMU, first of all, if you out at Montgomery, make sure you go find Blue. Probably won't see him in the crowd. He's up in the, he's up in the fancy stuff in the suites and the boxes with the media people. So you probably won't see him. But if you do see him, say what's up. If you know you're gonna catch me, all right, I'm gonna be in the stadium. I'm in the stands, all right. So I'll be on the FAMU side. I got a couple of my friends coming with me as well. You know, the Like Police, my baby, she gonna be out there as well. So make sure y'all come up to us. We got a generator. So we're going to be out there doing a pregame show tomorrow out in the field. So if y'all see me, y'all can stop by and say what's up. It's too easy. Kofi's supposed to be here. Mr. Campbell's supposed to be in attendance. So it's going to be a fanfare fest. So, yeah, man, be praying for you for safe travels, Blue. Everybody on the road going to any games, hope you guys have safe travel as well. And listen, until next time, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to holler. God bless. Scotty going to sit in. I'm not going to JSU's homecoming. That's Blue. Are you going? I thought you was going to that.
You think I'm gonna get a credential at Jackson State? I'm going to Chattanooga, Mercer, top 10 matchup, potential top 10 matchup, top 15 matchup. I'll be in Chattanooga that weekend.
All right. All right. Now we out for real.